RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. You're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Thursday, November 7th. We'll be taking a look at the best props and pick'em plays for Week 10 in NFL. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thumbs. Hit the thumbs up button, the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, everything. We got tons of content coming out here on the YouTube channel. We got the NFL stuff, NBA, obviously, that's going on as well. But joining me right now is the guy behind the Blitz projections. You can get here at RotoGrinders, rotogrinders.com/the-blitz. It's Derek Carty. And we just literally just got news right now. Trevor Lawrence unlikely to play Week 10. So that will change some things for the Jaguars, even though I don't think they were in good shape anyway to necessarily win the game against the Vikings on Sunday. Anyway, that may change more. I think maybe a little bit more for DFS than for props. But Derek, are you ready to look on? I know you're typically I would have Will on, and Will's more of a pick'em guy, and then I have to do the regular props with him. You're kind of a regular props guy, so now I'm going to have to translate the stuff kind of to the prize picks board. But are you ready to, you know what I say about the Blitz projections? Get up before Cardi. So, a lot of the stuff that you're probably going to say, I already have, and you should get it before Cardi, you say it, and everyone jumps on board, and then the numbers move. So, are you ready to ruin some markets? Are you ready to ruin some markets?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're looking for obviously on Prize Picks. I'm gonna bring it up here because I'm producing myself. Bring up the Prize Picks board. You can get our props and pick'em package, which uses the RotoGrinders statistical projections. That's a separate package that if you're not playing DFS, I definitely would use it. It covers all the sports. You get the prop tool, you get the pick'em tool, but you also get this little extension that you get on Chrome and Firefox that overlays the RotoGrinders projections on the Prize Picks and Underdog and all the pick'em sites, the board. So you don't even have to necessarily even go to the RotoGrinders site and just go through all these different statistical categories and say, hey, this is a big discrepancy. Maybe I'm going to select more here. Maybe I'm going to select less here. So that's definitely useful. So we will compare some of these things to the RotoGrinders projections themselves. But obviously, probably the Jaguars stuff, you're going to have to recalculate a little bit. Yes. Do you have anything from the passing front as far as quarterbacks are concerned? Because let's just say that, and maybe you could talk about it a little. These Saints props and your Saints projections. How does a new coach affect how you project how a team is going to play? Because they obviously got rid of Allen. This passing prop on Derek Carr is kind of low, 200.5.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, but can you explain how are you going forward in this first week with a new coach? Do you expect them to play similar to the way they played before? How do you do you go into the new coach's background and well, they're probably going to look more to do this and look more to do that, or are you just simply going by the numbers and going, well, I'm just going to regress based on how the team's been playing? Because typically in 1 week they don't just overhaul an entire playbook.
Yeah, so I take it on a case-by-case basis, and it's kind of a little bit of both. I will definitely go back and I'll look at, okay, this is the new coach. This is what his tendencies tend to be. I won't project the team to be, right away automatically those exact tendencies because, like you said, it takes time to overhaul the playbook. Teams kind of, are already kind of, all the players are kind of used to doing one thing already. And it matters too, what the guy's role is going to be. In the case of the Saints here, Dennis Allen was the head coach, but he was more of a defensive minded kind of guy. They brought in Kubiak to run the offense this year. He's still there. So presumably the offense is going to look pretty similar. I haven't made any changes to the Saints offense really, just because I don't think a change of a head coach is going to do much, or at least we don't have any indication how it's going to change it. So for right now, I'm just projecting the Saints offense more or less the same. And yeah, I agree that the Carr stuff looks too low.
You have Carr at 266 as a mean, which is very far off from the RotoGrinders projections, who have him at 207.7. Right now, the best line you could get in the betting market, at least here in Kentucky with the book I have access to, Bet365 has over 200.5 minus 110. That's the same number that's on the Prize Picks board. It shows as like a 76% edge on Bet365. And although, in the blitz we trust, I bet a lot of blitz projections. I still go by the heuristic that the larger the edges that you see, the more likely you're wrong and the market isn't. It doesn't mean that you're wrong to that extent, to directionally. But like if you went in and used any type of just strict Kelly requirement, just like bet, the Kelly, to say that this is a 76% edge, I mean, you don't see that in betting markets or anything like that.
No, I have a go ahead.
No. All I'm saying is that from a realistic standpoint, that I condone a little bit more of a flat betting staking, especially since I bet very wide. So I may have 150 bets. I'm much more likely to flat stake, meaning I'm betting the same amount on like everything across the board, rather than scale based on what the projected edge is, because a lot of times like the 10-15% edges are actually more likely to be 6 to 10% edges than the 70% edge is to be a 70% edge. Like if you understand what I'm saying.
I do,
so,
yeah.
Although, unless there's some discernible reason, especially if the number has been up for a while. So like those, like kind of like those two axes. I know we'll get into the picks. I know people, but I try to teach people how to be better bettors. Is that the axis is like the bigger the edge and the time horizon. The time horizon matters a lot more. If you wake up on Sunday and you see an edge that according to your projections, even if you're making them yourself, that says that you have a 40% edge on something, and it's on a prop that has been up since Tuesday night, you don't have a 50% edge. I could pretty much tell you, because the number's been up for, and maybe it's moved a little bit, but the number's been up for 5 days. So you're telling me no one else looked at this and said, yeah, I got to hammer this, and then the books start moving the number in your favor? Probably not. Now, if it just went up, it's like, oh, this number just goes up, and you're like, oh, I have a 50% edge. I'm much more likely to jump on that a little bit early. Maybe not treat it like a 50% edge, but at least bet it early, because, I mean, we've seen it multiple times this year, especially some receiving yard props with people being out. They put up a number that's either way too high or way too low, and then an hour later, it just comes off the board. Yeah. And then 3 hours later, it comes back up, and it's like, good thing I got over 53.5 when it went back up and over 68.5 early. But if the number's been up for 2 days, you kind of look at it and go, yeah, I don't know if this is a 40 or 50% edge. So that like, but I still don't mind directionally flat staking everything, so that, let's say, if you're betting 100 things, you're betting $20 on all of them. You have a $2,000 portfolio that directionally should be right and should produce, 3 to 5% edge at minimum. Like, I think that's a better way to go than to just go, yeah, I'm kind of halfway complimenting you, Cardi, and halfway like warning the viewers that I think a 266 mean for Carr is kind of high, but I'm still directionally agreeing with you that I think 200.5 minus 110 is probably still too low.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. First, every projection system is going to have certain biases. Like nothing's ever going to be 100% correct. I agree that you want to treat this more directionally than actual, like, don't true Kelly stake prop bets. Like, I do flat betting myself. That's what I recommend people do. Even calculating that edge, you said 70%. I have it calculated more like 32, I think. So like just that calculation alone can vary. But again, I don't treat those, that projected ROI Kelly staking number as gospel at all. But in the case of Carr here, I think 205 is far too low. I think this is the best prop on the Prize Picks board.
Would you prefer? I mean, because the way that Prize Picks and Underdog works, although there was an edge 3 years ago, where they didn't ding you for any type of correlation. Now they ding you too much, and I know me and Will have talked about. We prefer to actually make Prize Picks cards that have no correlation, because once you start putting in a receiver's more here, it's going to ding you more than the actual correlation of those two. So it actually, you're not getting the benefit. You're actually getting a negative benefit. Do you prefer the Carr number over passing yards, or would you rather take someone's, like Kamara's over receiving yards, or any of the other Juwan Johnson's over receiving yards? Or do you think that out of the Saints passing offense, since we're making this 6-pick card on Prize Picks, do you prefer the Carr to cover all of that, or do you actually think that the better edge is on the receiving yards or receptions for the other skill position players?
I think it's on Carr. There's a little bit of edge showing on some of the other stuff, but I have projected, at least the numbers that I'm looking at. I have Carr as the best theoretical EV play available at Prize Picks right now.
Yeah. Okay, so how about is there anything else passing wise? Even passing, let's just talk about the passing games in general across the board, because other ones that are showing right now as plus EV, it seems like this Cardinals Jets game seems like Murray, Rodgers, Adams, Wilson, McBride. You're right now, I see from my dashboard that you're heavily on the overs in the passing game here, on both sides of the ball. So what do you think is the best edge that we could get on Prize Picks? And I'll translate it if you're just looking at the regular props in this game, and talk about why the Blitz sees this as a potential shootout environment.
Yeah, it does, which is, I wasn't exactly expecting that. I think the Kyler Murray stuff probably looks the best. But there are some other things. Rodgers stuff looks good. Garrett Wilson stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr. shows some edge. The one thing to keep in mind with this is the blitz is assuming a closed roof. Arizona has had it open a couple times, including last week, which would drag the projections down a bit if the roof is open. But I still think this looks pretty good. Like, these are two competent offenses, even if they don't always look like it. Theoretically, it's an indoors game. Jets have been playing a little bit faster since they swapped over offensive coordinators. I think Arizona plays fast to begin with, so this isn't like a super slow-paced game the way some Jets games can be, or at least doesn't project as one. I kind of like this one.
If we look, the Murray number on Prize Picks is actually higher than what's on the board on the sports books. I would suggest, if I look right now, Kyler Murray, the best number in market is FanDuel over 188.5, minus 114. DraftKings already has it up at 193.5, and that's kind of across the board. MGM, Bet365 also there. Prize Picks has it at 197.5. Which is still showing. Even the RotoGrinders projections, I mean, RotoGrinders has 218.8 compared to your 248. But I think we look at the receiving markets, like McBride on the other hand. McBride, you have a 68, and the best number available is FanDuel over 48.5, minus 114. Some other books have it at 50.5 and still showing as an edge, let's see from a reception standpoint. Trey McBride. Let's see if we even get. Yeah, we don't have a reception prop on the Prize Picks board. Do you prefer would you prefer the Murray number at 197.5 or the McBride number at 50.5? Because my natural inclination is to I'll slam the 188.5 on FanDuel and then not take a 9-yard hit on Prize Picks and just go with McBride.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you have access to. If you kind of have access to both, then you can shop around. Like I prefer the FanDuel line. If all you have is Prize Picks, I probably prefer Murray to McBride. But if you want to kind of diversify like that, like that's totally fine too.
Right. We also have like pass completions. Right. 18 pass completions. We got the over 17.5 minus 130 on DraftKings. So which one of these would you? I mean, I'll still side with the McBride one. I think if Murray goes over, it's much more likely that McBride is the one going over. It's just that I just don't like taking a worse number at Prize Picks when a lot of times I'm trying to get the better number at Prize Picks, even though I still think the 197.5 more than is perfectly fine. But just for kind of diversity stakes, I think I'm going to add the McBride one to this card.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. How about on the Jets side? The Jets, you have, I think a DFS this week. I think that Hall, Wilson, Adams. I mean, they're all in play, and I'm already, obviously we'll talk about more DFS GPP stuff tomorrow. I'm already running stuff and getting like multiple Jets in high median lineups, and that doesn't make me feel comfortable, Cardi. I know I'll be on the Blitz show. I'll be on the Blitz show tomorrow with you guys, filling in for Alex. Yeah, I'm going to probably say that tomorrow also. It's like, do we really want to play chalky Jets? But then you think about it, and with Lazard on the IR and Mike Williams gone, and really Conklin isn't much of a thing. Like their offense is pretty condensed.
Yeah. I mean, we've only seen, a couple of games with Davante Adams on this team now, only I think 3 games with the new offensive coordinator, but theoretically, like you said, they've lost some pieces. Like their wide receiver 3 now is probably Xavier Gibson, who has a 2% target share on the year and has run a route on 19% of dropbacks. Like these aren't guys that they really trust. This offense should flow pretty heavily through Wilson and Adams. And they've been a pass heavy offense. They're going into what is theoretically a dome here. I like the Jets stuff this week.
The highest edge thing I see for the Jets I think is Garrett Wilson over 5.5 receptions. You get that at Bet365 at minus 115. You actually have Garrett Wilson projected better than Davante Adams. I think most people would look at the names and go, well, it's Aaron, especially with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, and go, well, why isn't Adams? Like the market for Adams, like Adams receiving yards, for instance, in the market, that they're almost the same. Like Wilson is the best number is 66.5 on FanDuel, minus 114. And then Adams is 67.5, minus 110 at BetMGM. I think a lot of people would think that Adams would be like good 10, 15 yards clearer of Garrett Wilson. But is that truly the way that the Jets play? And do you think that we should add the more than 5.5 receptions to this card?
I think really more than anything else is we shouldn't be certain about who's number one, who's 1A, who's 1B. Like we don't know. The Blitz has them projected pretty close in volume. So I think if you're getting more of a discount on Wilson than you are on Adams, which kind of seems to be the case, I definitely like the over here. I like Adams too, but I am seeing a little bit more projected value with Wilson.
Well, the thing is that even regardless of whether or not they're 1 and 2, like is Adams 1, is Wilson 1? the thing is that like there's no number 3. Like it's like 1, 2, and then it just drops off. So when you say, if you're gonna say that Aaron Rodgers is gonna complete, like, well, like if we go to the completions market, for instance, like we just say that the median is 21.5, and you haven't projected for 25 completions, but let's just even cut it in the middle and go 23 completions, right? Based on like who's he throwing the ball? Okay, maybe 5 to Hall. Okay, let's just say 5 goes to Hall, right out of the backfield. Maybe 4 or 5, something like that. You got like 1 to like Rucker, 2 to Conklin or something like that. 1 to Gibson or whoever, some weird Corley or something, and then you're still left with like 14 completions. Like that's Adams and Wilson. Like there are going to be some games where Adams out of the 14 gets 10 and Wilson gets 4, but like the average of this is like 7 and 7. So to me, it doesn't really matter if it's 1 and 2. It's quite likely that at the end of the day, we look at the receiving stuff and they both have somewhere between 7 and 9 receptions regardless. And you don't even have to worry about the yardage. So, although I'll be talking about it on the Blitz tomorrow I like playing condensed offenses in DFS GPPs, but I'm not sure if I want to play condensed offenses that both receivers are 6K, 7K, and 15 to 20% owned.
Yeah. But for prop purposes, I'm totally on board with this. And I think your logic is pretty sound there.
Are there any other passing games that you're high on this week that the prop market is not necessarily taking enough into account for?
Not really. At least not any that don't have some kind of uncertainty with it. Like I think CJ Stroud stuff is projecting kind of well, but I mean, some of that's going to be dependent on whether Nico Collins actually plays, which we don't know. Those were kind of the 2 that stuck out the most to me.
How about this? Okay, because we talk a lot about, everyone likes betting overs, right? But how about the Russell Wilson?
Oh, Russell Wilson under for sure.
216.5 passing yards. Some of these Pittsburgh Steeler props are not even up yet, but the Wilson number is. Let me see if this exists on fan on. Yeah, okay, we have 217. So it's actually going up a little here. RotoGrinders has the projection at 216.6, which still would be, obviously with skewed distributions, would be a good sign because it still is under that number. Why is Wilson showing to be a big enough edge here? Especially like if you go, like the Commanders' defense is not as bad as it was originally, we thought. Like earlier in the season. But Commanders do play at a fast pace. So, I mean, what's in the game level? Essentially explain. I'm trying to hypothesize why the Blitz projects Russell Wilson to be so low. Maybe you could shed some light on it.
Part of it is that it doesn't think Russell Wilson is that good. It thinks he's a below average quarterback. I mean, he's played well, I guess, for a couple of games since he's come back to the Steelers, but like we have a lot of evidence before that to say Russell Wilson is probably not a good quarterback anymore. Outside of George Pickens, he doesn't really have much to throw to. They added Mike Williams, but like who knows if he's any good or how he might not even play this week. He plays in an Arthur Smith offense, which is basically the most run-heavy offensive scheme in football. So that's always going to hurt passing production because we're just going to expect them to run the ball a good amount. They're only 3-point underdogs here. It's not like Vegas is necessarily expecting them to be playing from behind where they're forced to pass a whole lot in this one. So that's really kind of what it comes down to. The game does project as a somewhat fast-paced game, which I don't love. But this is kind of, to put it simply and bluntly, bad quarterback, bad offense, bad quarterback, bad receivers, bad offense for passing stuff in general. And that's kind of where we're at here with Russell Wilson. Especially if the market is overreacting a little bit to him kind of looking good the last couple of weeks. I think that just gives us a little bit more of a discount.
So Russell Wilson will not cook. That's the Blitz projection.
Blitz doesn't think he's going to cook. No.
Okay. As far as rushing is concerned, the one that I see right now with the largest edge is on a team that are not good.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
You don't want to talk about Rhamondre Stevenson?
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought you were going somewhere else. We can talk about Rhamondre.
Oh, we can go. So we go. We'll go. We need two more, so we'll go somewhere else after that. But I see Rhamondre Stevenson. Let me bring that up on the Prize Picks board. Obviously, the Patriots are going to Chicago to face the Bears. The Prize Picks has it at 50.5 for rushing yards and 13.5 rush attempts. The Blitz shows him at 74 as a mean and rush attempts at 17.3. I think this game is a little bit wider variance because Caleb Williams and Drake May are like not quarterbacks that like are consistent. I mean, they're rookies, so like Drake May could be horrible or he could be great this game. Caleb Williams sometimes looks great, sometimes he doesn't. So do you think that is the projection this high on Stevenson that regardless of how Drake May performs or how well the Bears do on the other side, that this game probably remains close enough that, you know, like I like in DFS, like Swift on the other side, although, you know, the prop wise, there's nothing on the board that's worth taking. That, I mean, I'm hypothesizing that the Blitz is factoring in that these teams are going to be much more likely to try to keep the ball out of their own quarterback's hands as long as possible until necessary, or anything could happen.
Yeah, anything certainly could happen for all the reasons you said. The Patriots in general, like, they were really run heavy early in the year with Brissett, which we kind of expect them to be because they're bad and they like Rhamondre a lot. They've been more pass heavy since May has come into the mix. But only certain games. Other games they've gone back to the run, and teams generally tend to lean more on the run with rookie quarterbacks because, you know, they're rookie quarterbacks. They're not very good right away. They have to learn a lot. This game should hopefully be not a typical Patriots are getting blown out because they're terrible kind of game, which should hopefully keep them able to keep the ball on the ground a little bit more. And when they do keep the ball on the ground, Rhamondre gets like almost all of the work. You look at his season-long numbers, and maybe it doesn't quite reflect that, which I think is maybe why the lines are a little low, because he had that, you know, the fumble issues, and then they benched him or whatever. But like they're back to fully trusting him now. He's getting like 75% of the carries. More than that if you're only counting running back carries. So yeah, I like the Rhamondre overs this week.
Okay, so we're going to take 50.5. You could get over 48.5 minus 114 at FanDuel. Currently, numbers on other books are moving up to 50.5. So go pick that up as quickly as you can. And then you thought I was going to mention someone else, and I'm not even sure who that someone else is. I was like, running back for a bad team, and it's like Rhamondre Stevenson. Who else could I be talking about other than Rhamondre Stevenson?
I didn't hear running back for a bad team. I just thought you were going with what I know is one of the Blitz's highest running back edges. It's an under, and it's a scary one. I don't really.
Is it the one for tonight?
It's the one for tonight.
What, Derrick Henry 92.5? Typically, I'm taking Henry unders with the Blitz and not doing so well.
Yeah, no, same. I actually haven't really been betting them, but I know the Blitz is on them every week. And it's just, I mean, Derrick Henry right now, someone in the Blitz chat said it last week. Derrick Henry's yards per carry right now is like like 6.1 or something. If he were to finish the season at that number, he would be the second highest of all time, the highest in the last like 60 years. Like, it's just like he can't keep doing this. He cannot possibly keep doing this. But he does. Every week he does. So you have to expect regression in that, and that's why the blitz projects the unders. But it's still a scary one.
But is it a distribution thing? Like the thing is that like Derrick Henry, six yards per carry is not because he's getting 6 yards per carry. It's because he's getting 2 yards per carry a couple of times and then breaking off a 58-yard run.
Right, exactly. Like he
so it's
keeps
like as long as he doesn't have 58-yard runs,
yes,
he's not going to get he's not going to get typically he's not going to get 100 yards. The problem is that we say it doesn't matter. There could be 74 seconds left in the game. He's going to get that 67-yard run, and your unders are cooked.
Yeah.
Is there a more of a chance, like with the Bengals defense tonight? I know I like talking about tonight's game because obviously people are watching on Thursdays, but this is good for multiple days. Are you more confident in Henry's under tonight against the Bengals compared to other teams, or I think this game tonight is probably much more likely to be passing heavy, even on the Ravens side, because I just don't think the Ravens could stop the Bengals passing game enough that the Ravens won't be up enough to just constantly, like, if you told me Henry gets 28 carries, I don't care. He may not need to break a big run. I just don't know if Henry sees that much work on the ground in situations where they're feeding him the ball against an 8-man box because they're up by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so we've definitely seen Henry's volume spike a bit with the Ravens in situations like that, which have been fairly frequent recently, where they're up, they're going to give it to him a ton in the second half, and he's just going to, grind it out and probably break a long run too and just go nuts. In a game where it should be closer, hopefully, I do think you're right that they probably will have to pass the ball more. They won't be able to just grind out the clock in the fourth quarter. If they fall behind, potentially it becomes a little bit more of a Justice Hill kind of script where
isn't Keaton Mitchell available?
Mitchell might come back this week too, which might eat into it a little bit. So yeah, I mean, theoretically, Henry is a value here. I mean, it just hasn't been working out, but theoretically, he should stop doing this, and this week kind of sets up pretty well for it.
So theoretically, I should win this prize bets card more often than 4% of the time, right? Because that's 25x on your money. And the completed card for this week on this show is Derek Carr, more than 200.5 passing yards. Trey McBride, more than 50.5 receiving yards. Garrett Wilson, more than 5.5 receptions. Russell Wilson, less than 217.5 passing yards. Rhamondre Stevenson, more than 50.5 rushing yards. And Derrick Henry, less than 91.5 rushing yards. $25 card with my own hard-earned money. Submitting that lineup, and hopefully it goes through because Prize Picks is sometimes weird on Chrome. Oh, we got it. We got it in. What else you got going, Cardi, this week? Content-wise, show-wise, things to check out. Obviously, tell people about the Blitz and everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, the Blitz for DFS is at RotoGrinders. For sports betting and stuff is at EV Analytics. I'll be doing the Blitz show here at RG tomorrow. Blender will be joining us. I'll be doing the show with covers tomorrow for betting. I'll be doing the show with Unabated tomorrow for betting. I'll be putting out stuff at Scores and Odds for betting. I think that covers it for the most part.
Okay, so go get the Blitz at RotoGrinders, and you could get that in addition to the Combo Premium package or the NFL package. We have all these sub packages now. Like Combo Premium is the best, right? You get everything. You get all the statistical projections, the pick'em tool, the research tools, the DFS stuff, Lineup HQ for building all your lineups, Sim Labs for simulations. You get everything. You get $40 off your first month of Combo Premium by clicking on the link below. But we also have these little, smaller packages where, just sim labs with the 4 major sports and the written content. Then we also have the props and pick'em package. So you can kind of pick and choose a lot more here at RotoGrinders now. And I hope that you pick me tomorrow. I'll be on with Bobby Gomes to talk NFL GPP strategy. And then if you're a premium member at RotoGrinders, I'll be on the Blitz show tomorrow with Cardi and TJ. I'm not sure. I'll be. I love hosting the Blitz show when Alex is gone because I enjoy playing the Alex role because he hosts the show without looking at the Blitz projections, but obviously I look at them. So he's always like, well, looks like this guy's in a great matchup, and he's like, actually, we're going to be playing this $4,700 receiver, and then his eyes are like, what? I wasn't even thinking of that guy. And then you explain, like, I love playing the fake sarcastic Alex Dunlap role on the show.
I always enjoy watching you play that role.
But you can do that tomorrow. That'll come out. We'll record it at about 1 o'clock, and that comes out later in the afternoon. Follow me on Twitter at BlenderHD. And Bobby Gomes be on tomorrow for GPP strategy. And hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the notification bell to always know when I go live on weekdays, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders Today.